If you have to sell your vehicle and you are prepared and you are offered a job abroad, take it, because it's going to pay you more than what Ghana pays. But remember, there should be a return to Ghana in terms of what you have in plan to make Ghana a better place, because eventually you may end up back in Ghana. I'm Dr. William Brown, Adote Brown from Ghana, Osu, and I'm in general practice for the last 35 years. I was born to the big Brown family in Osu, Blogodo, and went to primary school at South Labadi Experimental Primary. From there I went to Fanspain for 7 years in Cape Coast, boarding school. And from there I qualified for university. I wanted to do medicine all this time. But after interviews and interviews, and in a limited space and medical school, you'll be dropped off and dropped off and dropped off. You may have 3 A's and a B, and somebody might have 3 A's and another A. And so you are cut out, and I ended up at the University of Legon University doing agronomy. I wasn't happy about it. So after some time, I transferred to UTech. And at UTech, I was offered to do pharmacology. And therefore, when the opportunity came to do medicine outside of Ghana, covered by in Cuba, we decided to go, 4 of us. At high school, secondary school, we didn't like Spanish. Even French was a problem. And so you didn't learn Spanish. When it got to, I said, you're going to study in Spanish. I don't understand anything in Spanish. So the first year, they will teach you the basics. So you do your little physics and chemistry and the history of Cuba and all that, all in Spanish, just to get you on the path. So that's the first year. And then from then on, you start your career path. In my case, I was in Havana for 7 years. For 5, 6 years, almost 7 years. Grew in Havana. So Havana was very modern at that time, with all staying in a place called G25, a 25-story building with all the amenities, free food, free teaching, and we did also study at the main hospitals in Havana, the big hospitals. And one of the cultural shocks that I saw was that even if you're a professor and you ride on a bus, you have a girlfriend or wife who is a cleaner. There was no respect of persons. That was one of the shocks. Because a doctor or you're a big architect or you're a big something, you can't even come down in our societies. But there was a cross-cultural, and then, there are whites and there are mulattoes and then there are blacks. A lot of racism, that was also a shock, because where I come from, there's nothing like racism. We are black and we are black. So that was some of the things. So the respect is important, just like as we had by one time, the food, the language, and the racism and all that was a little bit of a shock to me. My friends at school taught me a lot. And then friends outside of school, they would take me to their families and then we learn about movies and that kind of thing. And once you learn the language, you're able to maneuver in a better way. It was quite okay. It was fun. Food and everything, gave us everything free. Uniform, teachers, schools, everything. Trips, we did trips free. And all that, everything was free and the bus was free. I came to Jamaica because I wanted to explore the Caribbean a little more and see what is it that they have that we don't have at home. So, got a girlfriend from Jamaica. She brought me here, 1987 thereabouts, and I liked it. I said, when I finish medicine, I'd like to come and see what it is like. So I just came, when I finished, I just came for a couple of months. And a couple of months changed to a couple of years. And they went to me and came back, and went to me and came back. And I started practicing, went to their exams, and that's what brought me here. So medicine brought me here, plus a woman. My family is still in Ghana. My father just passed. April will be 2 years. My mother is still in Ghana. She's 88, she's going to be 89. I have 3 siblings in Ghana, 2 sisters and a brother. And they're all over the place. So we've been communicating. But in terms of culture, so I grew up in Ghana. I have friends in Ghana still. I have relatives. My family is very, very big. Over 1,000 of us when we meet for a family gathering. So we have platforms, all right? So on these platforms, we do a lot of interchanges. And I go to Ghana almost every year. So I can't lose touch of the culture. We are made to believe that outside of our countries, our poor countries in Africa, there's greener grass out of our countries. And in the olden days, in previous years, that was right. Because you go and you make the impact, you work hard, you make your money, you come home, you build your real estate, you make your family feel okay and all that. But it's not the same now. But the challenges are all over. And I've seen people go and come back home. Or some people go, they leave and they come back home immediately. Some people leave, make money, make life and all that, and then they come and rest. The diaspora, some come and return home and eventually die home. So overall it is true. It's not only from Ghana, it's from Africa and Latin America and the Caribbean. I think every Jamaican has a family in. So there are about 3 million Jamaicans on the Jamaican soil, but there are about 6 or 7 million abroad. And of them, you're talking about England, you're talking about America, and you're talking about Canada. That's where they are. So it is true. I mean, when going outside of Ghana, you see more opportunities to study, to pursue your career, to make money, to live better. But then that's a brain drain that we have to be aware of. But then everybody wants better should come. So if you get an opportunity and you can get a visa and go, hello, why not? But how do our countries benefit from this? There's no way, unless you're able to tease them out. And can you match what the foreign companies pay? Maybe no. So it will continue, it's not going to change. The brain drain is going to continue. And actually it does so in Cuba, but more organized. They will train 2,000 doctors every year and ship out 1,500 to earn foreign exchange for Cuba. You understand? So the brain drain will always be there once there's inequality of superpowers and all that, So I don't think it's going to stop. It's going to continue. What we need to do is to replenish. But the question is, how do we attract persons to come back, or how do we benefit from the persons who leave? It's going to continue. It's not going to stop. And I'd love to go to America, whereby I can have like a business there, between business and Ghana, medical practice, or whichever business, that there will be an interchange of not just knowledge, technology, and also devices and machinery, that kind of interchange, business, which will benefit Ghana too. That's the part that I wasn't aware of it until late in life. They make yourself okay, make your family okay, and all that. But what about Ghana? How does it benefit? If I had a medical practice in Ghana, I'm practicing shipping doctors there, or managing a mini hospital also, that's the benefit Ghana would have gotten for sending me away. The opportunities are out there, definitely is true. I mean, I've lived in many countries already. And I know the opportunities outside, they are there, but they say success comes when opportunity meets preparation. So you can go and meet the opportunity. If you are not prepared, it's useless. So get educational background properly, concretized. And so when the opportunity comes and your preparation meets it, you're successful. Because a lot of persons go abroad and they're not successful. People live abroad illegally for years. Like what Trump is saying now, which is true. So yes, if you have the opportunity, go as a youngster. And make sure that in going you are prepared, so you don't just be working 4 or 5 jobs struggling. You get maybe 1 job to start with, and study more to make you more, marketable. And if anything at all, try and set up a business, whatever business, or send equipment and do something so Ghana can benefit from. That's a part that is missing in my life. I did send, and I've been sending. My family has a school, a primary school, all right? And we expanded and built up, but that is for the home, it's not for Ghana. Maybe it created a space for other kind of education, the students to come and all that. But in general, what was the benefit? Instead of sending like a medical center or a polyclinic, there would have benefit. That's a part that wasn't in my planning over the years. Because I was just shipping money to fix up that school so that 1,000 or so students can't benefit from, which is also plausible. But I would have preferred, if I have the medical link in Ghana, to do something like that, research, and just see, look what I'm doing here. I could have been doing that in Ghana. The question is, if I go to Ghana at this particular point, it's going to be a little bit out of sync. Or some people have done it, and some Cubans have gone to Ghana, people studying Cuba, they've gone back and they've made it. But it's not going to be easy to transition. You know, I prefer to work up when I retire in Ghana, and that's it. If you are prepared and you have a degree as a teacher in Ghana, and what you are paying, being paid is not enough, and you get a job abroad, and they give you the visa and all that, go. Why not? Go and make money. No. If you are not prepared in case of you are not qualified, you're just going to do Walan to Walansa, and you go into a construction site and have 4 or 5 jobs, I don't think it works. I wouldn't go into that now. That's when people die. It's too cold and they die because they can't afford temperature control. If you're in the house, they're always cold. Now, if you are prepared and you are a teacher or you are a nurse, my sister is a nurse in London. She was here for 10 years before she moved to London. All right, my brother lived here 14, 15 years and moved to Canada. You know, so they are prepared, so they are not going to die in the cold. But somebody who's going to take a bus and it's snowing and has to walk half a mile and snow, that person can die. You see? So if you are prepared, you can go and continue your opportunity that's there, take it up, your career, and become somebody instead of struggling. And sometimes struggle doesn't even allow you to become legalized because you can't pay the fees. With the amount of experience I have, I don't think you should get up and sell everything you have. It's like putting all your bags in one basket. When that basket breaks, all the eggs go. So yes, you may do the transition little by little in terms of phases. All right? So you sell part of what you have and then go and see what it is, feel around, and if you want to sell it. You can't do everything one time. As a young person, you have to be very careful because challenges that make the world gives the world a lot of inconsistency, uncertainties. Anything can happen. So the fact that the first person, it worked for the first person doesn't mean that it will work for you. Because there are different factors involved. So I'm advising the young persons who are there who plan to go abroad by selling everything and going to be careful, because if you go and it's not well, then you come back to nothing. And that's very stupid.